it ain't that piece of paper, some other choice we're gonna try and make for you.
I like your domino analogy. The question I ask is who tumbled the first domino? Yeah.
And the Oscar goes to... Seal that up. Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey is many things. An Oscar winner.
Thank you to the Academy for this.
A raconteur, a Texan philosopher with a penchant for shirtless existentialism and Lincoln commercials.
I've been driving a Lincoln since long before anybody paid me to drive one.
But beyond the twang and swagger, McConaughey is also a dedicated student of the acting craft. Over the decades, he has spoken with reverence for a select group of actors who, in his words, showed me how it could be done, with soul, with stakes, and with swagger. From silent assassins of the screen to thunderous scene stealers, here are the 10 actors McConaughey most admires, counted down naturally with the slow drawl of a man who likes to take his time. Jack's grin might be the most dangerous smile in Hollywood history. For McConaughey, Nicholson is pure charisma and chaos, a cocktail he finds irresistible. He always knew exactly when to let the crazy out, McConaughey said in a 2014 roundtable, but the brilliance was he never lost control. He made unpredictability an art form. Nicholson's iconic roles in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
You're just a young kid. What are you doing here? You ought to be out in a convertible, bird dogging chicks and banging beaver. What are you doing here, for Christ's sake?
Chinatown, and The Shining are etched into McConaughey's consciousness.
Slow tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Mr. Torrance.
They're calling it an accident.
Who's the investigating officer?
Lou Escobar. He's a lieutenant.
You know?
He has often cited Nicholson's ability to steal scenes with a glance, or a silence. That scene in A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. I mean, come on, that's not just a performance, that's a detonation. McConaughey has never worked with Nicholson, but the respect runs deep. He's one of those guys where you're watching, and even when it looks like he's doing nothing, you know he's doing something. On the surface, Hanks and McConaughey couldn't seem more different. One is the ever-dependable everyman, the other a charismatic cowboy with a wild streak.
This is not an equitable trade, sir. But what you're saying is, if Powers has given up everything he knows, then Moscow would trade?
But to McConaughey, Hanks is a master of subtlety, and perhaps the most consistent actor of his generation. He can take the most ordinary role and inject it with purpose, McConaughey told The Hollywood Reporter. You believe him because he believes it. You see it in his eyes, always. McConaughey has spoken with admiration about Hanks's work in Philadelphia, the very role that earned Hanks his first Oscar, and the same film that McConaughey himself once auditioned for in a minor capacity. Tom taught a lot of us that humility on screen doesn't mean invisibility, it means power. What strikes McConaughey is Hanks's longevity. He's been at the top for 30 years and never coasted. That's rare, that's damn rare. A more recent entry in McConaughey's mental Rolodex, Mahershala Ali, earned the Texans' respect not just through his work, but through his poise. When Ali was cast as the lead in True Detective Season 3,
I was with my partner at the time, Roland West. We're doing our regular shift, following up.
McConaughey, the breakout star of Season 1, publicly endorsed the choice. He's got stillness, and stillness is powerful, he told Vanity Fair. He brings a presence to the screen that doesn't shout, it resonates. McConaughey had previously been blown away by Ali's performance in Moonlight, where restraint and emotional gravity coexisted with astonishing ease. You don't watch him acting, he said, you watch him being. Ali's method which leans heavily into spiritual preparation and character empathy, aligns with McConaughey's own mid-career reinvention. Mahershala makes you lean in, McConaughey once said, and when you lean in, you find something deeper. There was a time when both Pitt and McConaughey were poster boys for Southern charm and golden good looks. But McConaughey has always looked beyond Pitt's pretty boy past and instead admired the risk-taking beneath it. Brad made smart choices early, McConaughey told GQ. He could have coasted, taken the heartthrob road forever, but he went and did 12 Monkeys. He did Fight Club. That takes guts. It's not lost on McConaughey that Pitt has become one of the most respected producers in Hollywood as well, often backing bold, socially conscious films under his Plan B banner. That's a man who wants to do something, not just be something, McConaughey said. They've never co-starred, though they famously shared a bottle of red and tossed footballs across their adjoining balconies in New Orleans in a widely shared paparazzi moment. Hell of a neighbor, McConaughey laughed. Good taste in wine too. The Mount Everest of method acting. If McConaughey's admiration for Pitt is rooted in smart risk-taking, his reverence for Day-Lewis is closer to awe. Daniel's not just in character, he is character, McConaughey told The Guardian. He disappears into the role. You don't see the man, just the mission. It's no surprise that McConaughey cites Day-Lewis's work in There Will Be Blood.
Now you have a great chance here. But bear in mind you can lose it all if you're not careful. Out of all men that beg for a chance to drill your lodge, maybe...
as a benchmark for cinematic immersion. When he said, I drink your milkshake, I didn't see acting, I saw a man possessed. McConaughey himself pushed boundaries in Dallas Buyers Club.
Give you a little news flash. There ain't nothing out there can kill fucking Ron Woodruff in 30 days.
Shedding over 40 pounds and immersing himself in the real-life struggle of Ron Woodruff. That's as close as I've come to living inside the bones of someone else, he said. Daniel does that every time. If Day-Lewis is the grand artisan of transformation, then Oldman is the shapeshifter, a man who can vanish into villainy or virtue with equal brilliance. Gary's like a ghost, McConaughey once said on a panel discussion. He enters the frame and you're looking for Gary, but all you see is Churchill, or Sirius Black, or Dracula. Oldman's Oscar-winning performance in Darkest Hour particularly floored McConaughey, who praised the way Oldman managed to combine theatricality with truth. He made a man larger than life and still kept him human, he said. More than anything, McConaughey respects Oldman's versatility. He's the kind of actor who makes you ask, how the hell did he do that? And sometimes that's the most exciting thing, not knowing. Perhaps more than any actor on this list, Bridges feels like McConaughey's spiritual kin, a fellow surfer-philosopher whose laid-back exterior hides a deep well of feeling. Their conversation for Variety's Actors on Actors series was a love-in of mutual respect. Jeff doesn't act, he exists, McConaughey said. You feel like you've known his characters your whole life. McConaughey has called Bridges' performance in The Big Lebowski.
When did he start? No! What the fuck? Get in the limo, you son of a bitch. No argument. Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here, huh? Start.
One of the great magic tricks in film history, a portrayal that is both outrageous and completely believable. But it's Bridges' quieter roles, like in Crazy Heart, that hit hardest for McConaughey.
I never really hurt no one. I just had to have my way.
He showed what it means to be weathered but not broken. That's a rare thing on screen, vulnerability without pity. Hackman was never the loudest guy in the room, McConaughey once said, but he always had your attention. For McConaughey, Hackman is the blueprint, a no-nonsense craftsman whose performances never felt showy but always landed with force. There's a gravity to Hackman, he said during a Screen Actors Guild retrospective. He doesn't pull focus, he creates focus. Even when he's still, there's tension, like a coil that could spring at any moment. McConaughey is especially fond of Hackman's work in The French Connection and Unforgiven. calling the latter a masterclass in restraint. He lets silence speak, and when he talks, you listen. Though Hackman retired from acting in the early 2000s, McConaughey continues to mention him as a lodestar. Hackman never needed fireworks, he just brought the storm. If Hackman is the still lake, Pacino is the storm. For McConaughey, Pacino is passion, fire, and theatrical soul, all wrapped into one fearless performer. There's not a wasted breath in Pacino, McConaughey once told an interviewer. Everything is purposeful, every pause, every explosion, it all comes from the gut. He's singled out Dog Day Afternoon and Serpico as formative performances.
I'm here with my partner and 9 other people. See, we're dying.
Watching Pacino in those films taught me about urgency, about what it means when the stakes are not just high, they're everything. McConaughey has also admired Pacino's later roles, including The Insider and Angels in America, praising his adaptability. He never settles, he's always searching. They shared the screen briefly in Two for the Money.
36th consecutive meeting. Hey man, well done. Well done is right. And in all that time, I haven't once been to a track.
But McConaughey says he was too in awe to register most of it. I was watching Al be Al, and I forgot I was in the scene. At the summit of McConaughey's admiration sits Paul Newman, not just as an actor, but as a man. Newman had integrity, McConaughey told Esquire. On screen, off screen, same guy. You could see it in the way he carried himself, the causes he stood for, the way he aged with grace. Newman's performances in The Hustler, Cool Hand Luke, and The Verdict are masterclasses in controlled charisma.
Not a marble statue or the trappings of the court.
For McConaughey, they were roadmaps to a certain kind of masculinity. Flawed but noble, charming but self-aware. He made vulnerability look cool, McConaughey said, and cool look vulnerable. In many ways, McConaughey's own career arc, from romantic comedy Golden Boy to Oscar-winning moral crusader in Dallas Buyers Club, mirrors Newman's shift from matinee idol to respected elder statesman. But perhaps the deepest connection lies in how Newman chose his off-screen legacy: philanthropy, privacy, and authenticity. He played the long game, McConaughey said, and he won. McConaughey's tastes, like his career, are eclectic, stretching from the volcanic to the meditative. But there's a clear pattern. He values truth. Not in the literal sense, but in the ability of an actor to inhabit something fully, to make us forget we're watching a performance. I watch actors who make me lean forward, McConaughey once said, and when I lean forward, I learn something. In charting his own path, from the drawling newcomer in Dazed and Confused to the philosophical narrator of Greenlights, McConaughey has learned from the best. And with this roll call of cinematic heavyweights in his mind, he's not just playing the game, he's reshaping it.
See everything outside our dimension. That's eternity. Eternity looking down on us. Now to us, it's a sphere. But to them, it's a circle.